Pregame.tv breaking down NFL action. Let's head to the Bayou. Two best coaches
my kind of town.
In the NFC. We got Arians in Arizona heading on in. Sean Payton, he's back 2-0. The Saints, they almost give it away against the Bucs.
Almost.
Your pick to win the Super Bowl.
Pick to win the Super Bowl. The New Orleans Saints looking great, looking wonderful. I couldn't be happier. I could not be happier. Not just that they won and they're 2-0, but the way they won those games.
I couldn't be happier because during the summer, that was my NFL season win. That was my best bet that I put up. Over 9 wins.
Yeah, I bet it.
And it went up to 9.5, and then all the linebackers and the linemen started to get hurt on the defense. So it stayed at 9.5, but a little big on the under.
I'm glad you brought that up. This is for our Boardwalk Empire fans out there, this is my...
I've never even heard of Boardwalk Empire.
This is the best shows ever on HBO. This is my chalky white game of the week because it's a lot of chalk, and the line should keep going up, and it really doesn't matter. I love that you said... It's the defense. They got injured, and you're starting to see that it's the system that Ryan has implemented. Taking this team from a 4-3 to a 3-4 is taking advantage of the athleticism of these linebackers and this secondary. And this is a team that last year I kept hearing about, this is the worst defense in the history of the NFL. Guess what?
Statistically, it was the worst defense.
It was that kind of year. It was you need motivation to play defense. You need effort to play defense. And the one thing...
You need to worry about not being subpoenaed to play
exactly.
defense.
And two things the Saints weren't last year is motivated, and they didn't put any effort on that field. After they started off 0-4, that was it. It was mail it in.
If you breathed on anyone, personal foul,
so you were going to see no
roughing.
Here's what you're seeing this year. Atlanta Falcons, 17 points. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 14 points.
Really 7 because I got that fat boy with the 85-yard interception return.
Exactly.
That don't count.
That, to me, says how dangerous this team is because we already know this is going to be the best offense in the NFC. I was going to say the NFL, but we have the Denver Broncos. We have the Denver Broncos right now. And because of that, I'm going to say in the NFC. But what we have that Denver doesn't, we have defense in New Orleans. Can you believe it? Listen, last year, if Drew Brees would have threw for 56% completions and threw 2 interceptions, they would not have won a game. He threw 2 interceptions last week, 56% completions.
Subpar.
And they beat Tampa Bay, division game, on the road in the classic letdown spot after beating the Atlanta Falcons, who are your division nemesis, with a goal line stance on 4th down that had letdown written all over it.
Sure.
And they didn't. Instead, they won the game. That, to me, is the makings of, I remember, I was there. The year they won the Super Bowl, that's what this team reminded me of.
You're tearing up on me.
I am. I'm ready to cry.
You're from Philly.
I become a New Orleans fan. So I have a lot of reasoning for that. I love that city. And I'm telling you now, if you ask any diehard New Orleans fan what this season feels like, they're going to say that magical season we carried that Lombardi trophy down Bourbon Street. That's what it feels like. It feels like it to me, and I know it feels like it to the rest of the Saints
Nation. The offense is going to come
Who Dat Nation. Of course.
There's no question. You watch Graham run around. He is unstoppable. He's like Gronkowski without the 5 operations.
On top of that, he caught 10 passes, and then you have running backs in Sproles and what's it called? You got Sproles, Ingram, and Pierre Thomas.
Pierre Thomas.
You have Sproles and Thomas.
Colston is going over the middle.
That also caught 10 passes last week. So not only do you have wide receivers in like you said, in Colston and Moore. Not only do you have a tight end in Graham, but now you have 3 running backs and running back by committee to rush the football, and 2 of them with Sproles and Pierre Thomas that could catch the ball coming out of the backfield. You have 6-7 weapons on offense that you have to deal with, and I haven't even mentioned the quarterback's name, Drew Brees.
Well, I have one major problem that they got to work on this week.
Give it to me.
They need to work on tackling, but here's the good news. they need to work on their offense to be able to tackle, because that was disgraceful, that 85-yard return.
It was.
That they could not get that guy down. But you know what? Breeze doesn't throw that many interceptions. I think if that's the biggest weakness they can come up, and how horrific for Tampa Bay that they couldn't win that game at home when they got the 14-point swing play. Let's face it, the Saints were going in. They were up 6.
They were going to cover that game. Exactly. They were going to cover that game.
I like it. Let's make this one official.
The Who Dat Nation will be celebrating. My true line on this game, New Orleans minus 11.5. You only have to lay around 7.5. If you can, here you go. You can't sprinkle on this one, so what you're going to do is you're going to do a little reverse sprinkle. And if you can do one of those reverse type of bets where you lay more points than the spread is to get plus money.
The pleaser.
The pleaser.
You're going to put the pleaser down.
I just love the name of that. I aim to please. That's what I do. Go ahead and please with the New Orleans Saints. This has double-digit 2+ touchdown win all over it. I haven't even talked about the Arizona Cardinals because they're irrelevant in this game.
They're much improved.
But they're there to serve a purpose, and their purpose is to let the Saints fans celebrate this 2-0 start, the 2 tough wins that they had to endure and overcome.
Time for the blowout.
And it's time to put on a show. Celebrate, dunk over the goalpost.
I
could see it.
I've heard Drew Brees, Graham gets up like 10 foot.
I could see it.
I've heard Brees has covered like 10 straight games at home. They are just unstoppable.
And this is that kind of game. It's a celebration type game. I'm telling you right now.
You're going to please. I'm going to tease. I'm going to sprinkle in some teasers as well. Because I got other games that we'll talk about.
All day. Tie it up with everything.
Go ahead and who wants to lay 340 on a money line when I can bring this?
Bring it down.
Place, I'll bring it down from 7, although it's 7 in a couple places, down to 1. They just have to win the game. We'll put in that tease because I got other games I like to tease, and I'll get at it that way.
So you run out of money. This is the chalky white game of the week. Easy money.
I like it. Stay with us, pregame.tv. I'll tell you if you decide to tease these Saints, who to tease them with. And please them. Don't forget to please them. But you want to tease them as well. I'm going to tell you who to tease them with. Come back, check that out. Pregame.tv. We will be breaking down the Sunday night football game.
Aim to please.
Please.
Aim.